Hello everyone, welcome you all on your channel Ravneet Study Corner. So as you all know that we are doing physics on this channel, and in this particular series we are doing lasers, and today is our 8th lecture of laser, and we've already covered lots of topic like Einstein coefficients, population inversion, and pumping schemes, 3 level 4 level pumping scheme, basic phenomena in laser like stimulated emission, spontaneous emission, stimulated absorption, and lots of other topics as well. So this is our 8th lecture, and in this lecture our today's topic is ruby laser. So before starting our today's lecture, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel, hit the bell icon to get the notifications whenever I upload a new video. So let's start with our today's topic, that is ruby laser, which is a solid laser. And ruby laser is one of the laser that are mentioned in our syllabus. So before proceeding towards our lecture, what actually ruby is, ruby crystal, what actually ruby crystal composed of? So ruby crystal is composed of aluminium oxide, and red color of ruby is because of the impurities that are present in the form of chromium 3 positive ions. So basically hota kya hai, a aluminium 3 positive ions get replaced by some of the aluminium 3 positive ions get replaced by chromium 3 positive ions, and these ions are actually responsible for color of the ruby, which is ruby color, red color of ruby crystal. So this is I've already explained in previous lectures. So today we'll only talk about laser composition of ruby laser. So ruby laser is actually composed of aluminium oxide, and where aluminium oxide act as an active medium. So active centers are also a kind of term that I've already explained. So active center is actually responsible for the production of laser or an intense beam of laser, or can say lasing action in laser. So here in ruby laser, chromium 3 positive ion are active centers, and the composition of chromium 3 positive ion that is required for the laser action in ruby crystal to take place, or in ruby laser to take place, is 0.05%. So this is important term, you have to remember these facts. And we have already studied about pumping, different pumping schemes like chemical pumping, optical pumping, electrical pumping, gas dynamic pumping. So in ruby laser, the pumping scheme that is used is optical pumping scheme, and the pumping is done by helical xenon flash lamp. So again, this is one of the important fact that you must remember regarding ruby laser, which is solid laser. So in ruby laser, ruby is taken in the form of cylindrical rod of 5 centimeter length and diameter 1 centimeter. So here you can see the basic diagram of ruby laser, where this cylindrical rod is of 5 centimeter length and its diameter is 1 centimeter. So these are the important points that you must remember about ruby laser. The next point that we have to discuss is how and where optical resonator is used in ruby laser. So ends of the rod is polished by silver so that one end become 50% and other end become 100% reflecting, and these ends will act as an optical resonator for our laser, which is ruby laser. So here you can see 100% reflecting surface and 50% reflecting surface. So from 50% reflecting surface you can see the output, which is red in color because its wavelength is lying in visible region. So you can see here that all the previous lectures that we have covered are making sense here. Like lecture of optical reservoir, I have told you that how 50% reflecting surface helps in the laser output. So here you can see the laser output is in red color, which is lying in our visible region. And the pumping scheme that is used in ruby laser is 3 level pumping scheme. So for better understanding you can watch the previous video on pumping schemes, so you can have a better understanding of this lecture or this video. So this is the energy level diagram of chromium 3 positive ions, where chromium 3 positive ion in ruby absorb green component of this white light, which is falling on ruby crystal through the xenon flash lamp or you can see all the other components which is present in white light are wasted here. Only one component that is used is green component for the production of laser beam, and this absorbed component of white light produces a red laser beam of wavelength 6943 angstrom, which is lying in our visible region. So here you can understand the working of ruby laser. So when our xenon flash lamp is activated by power source, it start giving out bursts of intense white light. So this intense white light helps in exciting, or can say absorbing the green component of white light. So as soon as the flash lamp start giving out bursts of white light, the chromium 3 positive ion, the ruby laser, or can say in the ruby crystal, absorb green component of this white light and raised to the bands of level E3. So here you can, these are bands, not a single band. Here it involves a lot of bands of energy E3. So when by pumping atoms from the ground state, or can say ground level E1, starts moving towards the band of level which is E3, so after some time some of the chromium 3 positive ion will start making transitions, actually can say non-radiative transition from level E3 to level E2. So E2 is a metastable state. So if you have watched the previous lecture, you must know about the non-radiative transition. So if you know about the non-radiative transition, do comment in comment section what actually non-radiative transitions. Okay, so if you don't know, then watch the previous lecture in which I've explained the term non-radiative transition. So here lots of chromium 3 positive ions start moving towards E2 from E3 by non-radiative transition. So E2 is a metastable state. So what is the function of metastable state? So these are the states in which atom stays for a longer duration rather than a normal excited state. So as the number of atoms in the E2 state will become greater than the number of atoms in E1 state, so N2 will become greater than N1. So this is a condition of population inversion. So soon the population inversion is achieved between level E1 and E2. A light amplification process, or can say laser process, will start happening and will get a directional, coherent, intense or a monochromatic beam of laser which is red in color and have wavelength 6943 angstrom, and which is lying in our visible region. So this is a process of a ruby laser. So there are some drawbacks of ruby laser as well. So there are lots of points that I've already told you about ruby laser, that it is a 3-level pumping scheme, or it absorbs only one component of white light, which is green component, and rest the components of white light are wasted. So this is also a drawback. So let's study all the other drawbacks as well with these two. So first among the drawbacks of ruby laser is 3-level pumping scheme. So ruby laser is obeying 3-level pumping scheme, to which requires high pumping power provided by xenon flash lamp. So high pumping power mean high energy, which will become costlier as well from production point of view. And the second drawback of ruby laser is, out of all the 7 components, as I've already told you, of white light, only one component is absorbed, which is green component, and rest all the components are wasted as heat. So efficiency of ruby laser is low. So third drawback of ruby laser is, the output of ruby laser is not continuous but occur in the form of pulses of short duration, or can say spikes, because the xenon lamp can't give continuous light. So laser output is only when there is a population inversion produced by the flashes of the xenon lamp. So I hope you are getting my point, that there is a population inversion only when there is a flash of light. So when there is no flash of light, there is no population inversion, which will result in no light amplification and no laser action. So these all are the 3 basic, or can say important drawbacks of ruby laser, which will can be questioned in paper as well. So this is all for ruby laser. So these are the questions that were asked in Mastercard 2020, which was held on 10th of the January 2021. So I'm hoping that these questions are now a cakewalk for you, because I've already covered all the topics that are involved regarding topics that were asked in questions. So if you know the answers of these questions that were asked in paper, So do comment in comment section and let me know if my videos are helpful for you in your preparation, and do share with all those people who are preparing for physics or any exam in which physics involved, and do like and subscribe to the channel as well to get, and press the bell icon as well to get the notifications whenever I upload a new video. So this is all. Thank you very much.